YouTube, it's Mr. Magz here, and I'm back with some more Pokemon problems. Now, in my humble opinion, Mega Evolutions were the best thing to come out of Pokemon X and Y. Now, if you knew my opinion of those games, you would know that those are not my favorite Pokemon games by any means. But the Mega Evolutions that did come out of that, I feel, were a pretty decent inclusion into the Pokemon franchise as a whole. So, seeing how they're not gonna be in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and the fact that Game Freak is for some reason not wanting to go back to making any more megas anytime soon, I figured now would be a good time as any to talk about some of the weird decisions that Game Freak has made when crafting Mega Evolutions. Now, I'm not going to be talking about Pokemon that didn't deserve Megas but got them, or Pokemon that did deserve them that didn't get one. That might be for a different list entirely. I'm more so going to be talking about abilities and stat distributions that they gave these Megas that just seem to limit what exactly these Megas could do. Which is weird because when Game Freak pitched these Mega Evolutions, it sounded as if they were going to be crafting these Mega Evolutions to make these regular Pokemon to be the power level of legendaries. And it's almost like they didn't want to go all in on that because a lot of these megas just seem a bit underpowered compared to what they could be. And that's weird because why would they make certain megas not as OP as they could be when they made Lucario literally as OP as he could be? Giving him adaptability makes close combat and other stab moves that much more powerful, along with giving him insane attack, special attack, and speed boosts. Just makes him so powerful that he was banned from OU almost immediately. So I don't understand why they emphasized giving Lucario this OP set of stats and ability when others just got the shaft for whatever reason. Now, I'll start with abilities. Now, the first one I'm going to be talking about is Alakazam. Now, in my humble opinion, Magic Guard is one of the, if not the best abilities in the game. It makes it so that you don't take damage from status effects, you don't take Life Orb damage, you don't take Leech Seed, Weather Effect damage. It's an all-around amazing ability. And going back to the Life Orb, it made Alakazam 5th Gen and on pretty powerful. He could just hold a Life Orb, and with that 120 speed and even higher special attack, he could just go ham and not have to worry about taking the damage from Life Orb, which was insane. So, seeing that they gave Mega Alakazam Trace made me a little disappointed. Now, granted, Trace isn't the worst ability in the game, but it's not as good as any of the abilities standard Alakazam had. Inner Focus and Synchronize, and especially Magic Guard, are way better than Trace. Because there are some abilities that Alakazam simply just can't use, and some abilities that aren't even traceable. Like if an Alakazam if a Mega Alakazam traced a Swampert, it would get Torrent. Alakazam can't use that because it can't learn a single water type move outside of maybe Hidden Power. And no one's running water Hidden Power. So, yeah, that was just a really weird decision as, like, why give him Trace when all three of Alakazam's other standard abilities were better? Especially thematically speaking, just the way Alakazam is, or Mega Alakazam is floating like he's meditating, Inner Focus would make perfect sense. So, yeah, I don't know why they decided to go that route, but it's always confused me ever since I saw that. And I just feel like giving him any of the abilities that regular Alakazam had would have made him just that much more powerful. And it's not like Mega Evolutions are any stranger to having the same ability of their predecessor. I mean, just look at Scizor. It kept the same ability because Ignition is an amazing ability. But, oh well. Moving on, Mega Pigeon. Now, I actually really like the fact that Mega Pigeon has no guard. The only problem is that they didn't really give Pidgeot the moveset that could really utilize this ability. I personally feel like they should have given him, along with Hurricane, which does use no guard phenomenally, along with that, I feel like they could have given him Blizzard or some other kind of um, low accuracy, really powerful attack like that. And it's not out of the question because a lot of weird Pokemon learn Blizzard. Nidoking learns Blizzard. Rhydon learns Blizzard. Every single water type learns Blizzard. It's just, I just don't understand why it wouldn't make sense for Pidgeot to learn Blizzard, especially when pretty much every single flying type could learn Heat Wave. Why is it not out of the question for that same philosophy of, oh, they fought their wings and heat the air up, why can't it be they fought their wings and cool the air down? I don't know. I just kind of feel like if they were to go the no guard route, they should have given Pidgeot some more moves to utilize that. And also, it's not like they haven't done that before. They specifically gave Ampharos Dragon Pulse because of his Mega. They gave Gyarados Crunch in Oras because his Mega is now Dark. So it's not like they haven't given certain Pokemon moves just so their Megas can work better. But if they are to keep the moveset that Pidgeot has now, I personally feel like Gale Wings or something like that would have been just a way better ability for him to have. With Gale Wings, you can still use Hurricane pretty effectively. Granted, it worked better in Gen 6, but still, you can do things like Gale Wings. And also, they increases the attack still. So, Brave Bird would still be a pretty powerful attack coming from Mega Pidgeot. But for whatever reason, they decided not to give him any other moves outside of Hurricane to really utilize it. So, even though No Guard is an amazing ability, it's just underutilized for Mega Pidgeot. Next up is Mega Ampharos. Now, I don't understand why they would want to give Ampharos Mold Breaker. Is it so that he can attack Lightning Rod and Motor Drive Pokemon with Thunderbolt and whatnot? At that point, why don't you just use Dragon Pulse? You would just do the exact same thing. And it would also still be not very effective against those electric types that are theoretically, I guess the only real contender for why you would want to use Thunderbolt over Dragon Pulse in any scenario would be King or Sea King, I guess. I can't really think of any other scenario why Mold Breaker would be useful unless you were going up against a Lightning Rod using Sea King. But outside of that, I just don't understand why they would give him a Mold Breaker. The same thing with Gyarados, for that matter. Like, why Gyarados makes a little more sense because water is just a little more versatile, and a lot more Pokemon have things like Water Absorb and Storm Drain. So that makes a little more sense. Also, he knows Earthquake, so we can Earthquake anything that's levitating. So that makes more sense. I don't like that he is Mold Breaker. I feel like he should have kept either Moxie or Intimidate, but overall, I'm fine with it. It makes him more powerful than it makes Gyarados. It works better for Gyarados than it does for Ampharos, definitely. So I feel like Ampharos could have had something like Adaptability, would have made him amazing. It wouldn't have made him OP like it did Lucario, but there never really seems to be any indication as to why certain Pokemon get Adaptability, so why not Ampharos? Also, if you're going to give him the luscious Lux and that fluffy tail, why not something like Fur Coat? I'd be okay with that. He now has a very furry coat. Like I feel like Fur Coat would have made him better than giving him Mold Breaker would be. Next up is a set of Pokemon that are all based, that all have their new abilities based around weather effects. And I'm going to start with Houndoom, who, just thematically speaking, I do not understand why Houndoom has solar power. Especially since he's based on a Hellhound who is nocturnal. He has early bird for a reason, because he sleeps during the day and hunts at night. Did they miss the memo on that? I don't like. No, there's no reason for Houndoom to have solar power. That literally makes zero sense to me. But whatever. I feel like something better for Houndoom would be Intimidate, because that's a scary Pokemon. If you saw that, that would be intimidating. Or something like Battle Armor. It has that bone armor now, so why not? I don't see why not. Just something better than solar power. Because, granted, it would be pretty decent on a sunny day team. But outside of, if you're not running Sunny Day on any of your Pokemon, or Drought on any of your Pokemon, Houndoom's new ability is pretty much useless, and I just don't really like that. Next up is Garchomp, another scenario where their ability, I feel like Garchomp, I kind of feel like they gave Garchomp Sandforce in order to try to nerf him, which I appreciate, because Mega Garchomp is pretty good. Granted, they did lower regular Garchomp's speed, but they still increased his attack and special attack by insane margins. So giving him Sandforce is a little more acceptable, but still I feel like Intimidate or Rough Skin or Sheer Force or Moxie or really anything else outside of Sheer Sandforce would have worked a little better. Maybe not Sheer Force now that I think about it, because that would have made him way too powerful, but any of the other ones I mentioned, I feel would have been a better fit for Garchomp. Next is Steelix, who also has Sandforce. And coming off of regular Steelix, who has Sheer Force, which I feel like would work way better for Mega Steelix, I just don't understand why they would actively make Mega Steelix essentially worse than regular Steel. Not worse per se, but on the attacking front, he's just not as useful. I feel like giving him Sheer Force, or even something like Heavy Metal, making Heavy Slam that much more powerful, because Mega Steelix is still super heavy, but doubling that with heavy metal, making it so that you're almost guaranteed to do the max damage with Heavy Slam, would be pretty useful. And also something like Heat Proof, just allowing him to tank fire type moves just a little better would make him that much more defensive, which is what they were going for with Steelix. So I don't know. I just feel like Sandforce for him doesn't really work, in my opinion. And last up is Swampert. Now, I actually like Swampert having Swift Swim, but just the fact that the other two Hoenn starters got really good abilities, I just feel like Swift Swim doesn't match up to Lightning Rod, and especially Speed Boost. Something like Sheer Force, again, or even Iron Fist. I feel like since he has those giant arms now, Iron Fist would have fit so well. He can learn Hammer Arm and Ice Punch and Brick Break and a couple other moves that work with Iron Fist, so why not? A lot of those moves are used on Swampert sets anyway, so why not go for it, in my humble opinion. Now, next, we're going to go with Gallade. Gallade, Inner Focus. They decided to give Gallade Inner Focus. Now, granted, that's a pretty good ability. I'll admit that. You won't get fake outed. You won't get flinched by any other moves. That's fine. My only problem is that they gave him Inner Focus when regular Gallade already had Steadfast, which does the same thing, but essentially better. if you get hit with a fake out, your speed goes up, which, especially for a Mega where you can't hold any other item, getting any extra speed would be useful in my opinion. So either keep Steadfast or give him Gallade's hidden ability of Justified or even Defiant. Because just thematically, again, Gallade having that cape and just the way he's designed, it looks like he's like a superhero now, or even like an anime hero now. So giving him something like Justified or Defiant, I feel like would work thematically. Or what they could do is give Mega Gallade some ability that works kind of like Tough Jaw, where all these slashing moves do more damage. Kind of like how Tough Jaw, all the biting attacks do more damage, or Iron Fist, all the punching attacks do more damage. I feel like that could work, and honestly, it's been overdue. There are a lot of Pokemon that are heavily influenced by swords and slashing based techniques. I feel like it, and there are a lot of slashing based attacks: Sacred Sword, Leaf Blade, Night Slash, Psycho Cut. I could keep going, and Gallade learns most of them. So, and it's not like they haven't done it before. Mega Rayquaza has Delta Stream, which is a unique ability just for him. So it's not like they haven't done it before. But if that's not an option, then either Steadfast, Justified, or Defiant, I feel like would make Mega Gallade just that much more better. Now, last on the abilities category is Audino. Now, Audino in 5th gen was honestly very annoying to take down competitively, simply because of Regenerator. Now, if you don't know, Regenerator is when you switch it out and switch it back in, it regains 30% of its health right there. They kind of ruined that by trying to be gimmicky with Mega Audino by giving it Healer, which I think has a 30% chance to randomly heal an adjacent party Pokemon. So essentially, it only works in a double or triple battle. I don't even think it works in rotation battles. So I just don't understand why they would do that, especially since Mega Audino can no longer hold either Citrus Berry or Leftovers, so you can't heal outside of using Rest. I don't even know if they can learn Soft Boiled. I would be surprised if they couldn't. I'm not 100% sure, but still, there's no way to just passively gain back health either from Regenerator or Leftovers that Audino could. Now, granted, the Fairy typing on him makes Mega Audino better than regular Audino, but I just feel like you have to run Mega Audino completely differently than you normally would regular Audino because you can no longer regen health in any way. That's just a little annoying, but it's definitely not the worst contender on this list. Now, moving on from abilities, moving on to the stats that certain Mega Evolutions got that I feel like could have been better. Now, I'm going to start with both Mega Charizards, with Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y. Now, the reason they're on this list, even though they're both used competitively, especially Mega Charizard Y, I think, even though they're both pretty oftenly used in the competitive scene, I feel like there was a missed opportunity to make Charizard faster. Now, I appreciate the increases in attack and special attack, but did Charizard really need 30 increase in defenses? Mega Charizard Y gains 30 special defense, and Mega Charizard X gains 33 defense. Is that really necessary? I kind of feel like they should have given 20 or even 10 to those defenses and give the rest to speed. Because 110 or even 120 speed, you're outspeeding some things, but you're not outspeeding a lot of things, especially other megas nowadays. So I just feel like not giving, especially Mega Charizard Y, who just looks like a way faster Pokemon than regular Charizard, not giving them any increased speed was a bit of a letdown. And you're gonna start to notice a pattern as I go on from here. Blastoise didn't get any increased speed. They increased his attack though, I guess to make Aqua Jets more powerful, and Waterfall, Earthquake. Although I honestly don't know why you'd be running a physical Blastoise, especially since Mega Blastoise's attack or special attack is way higher now. Why would you bother running a physical Blastoise? But yeah, they increase his attack by 20. I kind of feel like, sure, you can increase attack just fine, but you should also, I feel, increase speed by at least 10 just to make him a little better. Because, I appreciate a tank Pokemon, but just not having any increase in speed. 78 speed is just barely not good enough to be considered good. 80 is generally when most Pokemon are considered fast, at least for like average speed. 78 is just barely not good enough and is outsped by a lot of things. Even from 7th gen and 6th and 7th gen, which had a lot of slow Pokemon, a lot of the good ones from that gen still have higher than 80 speed. So they're still going to be outspeeding Mega Blastoise. So I feel like at least 10 more speed would have made Mega Blastoise just a little more better, just a little more viable. Because right now, I don't really see Mega Blastoise that much. And I feel like if they increase the speed just a little bit, that would be changed. But gonna move on to the next Pokemon that I feel like their speed should have increased, Gyarados. Now, similarly with Mega Blastoise, Gyarados' special attack increased. Why bother increasing Gyarados' special attack? Especially when Gyarados has 81 speed, which I just mentioned. 80 is generally when things are starting to be considered fast. So he's in that range, but 91 is, again, just that much more better. Instead of increasing special attack from 60 to 70, which goes from not good to bad, like, it doesn't really go up significantly. Hydro Pumps are still not going to hurt that much. Even even if you try to run a fully special Gyarados, it's not going to be worth it. And there's no point to even tack on just a random special attack onto Gyarados because Dark Pulse, which I don't even think they could learn, has the same base power as Crunch. Hydro Pump, it's not going to be better than Waterfall considering just how much higher his attack is than special attack. In fact, attack is over double special attack still after that slight increase. So I personally would have not gone with the increased special attack and instead given that 10 to speed. Again, 91 just looks way more impressive than 81. Or even if they wanted to not give defense 30 and instead just go up by 20 and give speed 20 speed. 101 speed would have been amazing for Gyarados. Especially since Water Dark isn't the best type combo. So, yeah, I don't understand why a lot of these Pokemon I'm going to be talking about just aren't quite fast enough to be useful. And going on with that motif is Mewtwo Y. Mega Mewtwo Y was considered to be the fast one of the two. Although, for whatever reason, they only increased Mewtwo's speed by 10. Now, granted, Mewtwo's speed was already 130, so 140 speed is really good. But it's not amazing. There are other Pokemon that still outspeed it. Things like Excelgor and even Ninjask. And now I think Electrode recently got a speed buff, so now he has 150 speed. Or something like that. Electrode's either tying or faster than Mega Mewtwo Y. I feel like, similarly with Gyarados, I don't understand why they would bother giving Mega Mewtwo Y such a high increase in attack. Mewtwo has 110 attack. I feel like going up by 20 is a fine amount. That's 130 attack. Okay, that's good. You can tack on something, something like a Psycho Cut or a Giga Impact or, just something like that if you wanted to. I don't really see a reason to, but if you wanted to, go for it. 150 just isn't really that much, isn't really significant enough of an increase over 130, especially when special attack is 194 to be worthwhile. Why not take some of that attack and distribute it between defense and speed, especially speed? I personally would have gone speed all the way up to at least 160 and maybe increase defense by 10. I don't know. I don't know. That might just be me complaining. Like, Mega Mewtwo Y is fast enough to outspeed a lot of legendaries and a lot of things that would be an Uber, but at the same time, just seeing this Pokemon that was introduced as being this really fast version of Mewtwo being not as fast as it probably should be is just a little disappointing. So, going right on with the motif, Latios and Latias. Both of them only had, or both of them didn't get any increases in speed, which is really disappointing because 110 speed, again, is not terrible. It's just not as good as it could or should be, especially since they both got increases in attack that especially Latias isn't going to use. They don't even learn Dragon Rush. So what attacking move are they going to use? Zen Headbutt? That's it. Especially Latias, did not need that extra attacking power. So I don't understand why they bothered. And Latios got 40 more attack with no speed. What is Latios going to do with that extra attack? I don't understand. I feel like just 10 more speed would have made him just a little more better. It's a little better. Again, if you feel like I'm just complaining over nothing here and you think 110 is super fast and that's as fast as they need to be, that's fine. Comment down below. Like, have a discussion about that. But especially when you're giving Mega Evolutions to already legendary Pokemon, it's okay to make them super powerful. Especially Latios and Latias, who no longer have the ability to hold the Soul Dew. Especially since neither of them are now able to hold the Soul Dew. I just feel like you should have compensated by making them a little more faster. Again, that might just be my opinion. Now, lastly, I'm going to talk about the most disappointing Mega of them all. Which, again, you can disagree with me. There might be others that you personally feel are worse. But in my humble opinion, Mega Abomasnow is the worst Mega, period. Now, granted, I don't know what they could have done to make Abomasnow good. Ice and Grass combo is objectively the worst typing in Pokemon. I think it's tied with Grass and Psychic to have the most weaknesses. And also, Ice is just not that great offensively. So, Abomasnow has 132 in both attack and special attack, which is not bad, but it is also not amazing. It has 105 in both defenses. That's actually pretty good. It's pretty bulky. The only problem is ice is terrible. Ice and grass are both terrible when it comes to defensive typings. So trying to make this kind of bulky tank of an ice and grass type just doesn't work in the slightest. I feel like what they should have done is either go with insane attack or insane special attack. I feel like if you're gonna keep Snow Warning, go with the insane special attack, because then you can use Blizzard all you want. But I feel like they should have done some other ability and go maybe 20 more attack. 152 attack looks way better. And you can still increase special attack if you wanted to. That's fine. Assuming, yeah, Blizzard would still be up for 5+ turns after you Mega. So make use of that Blizzard when you can. But just having 132 in both attacks, trying to make it kind of bulky when it's not necessary, when it's not needed for this Pokemon, I don't know what they could have done. I honestly don't know what they could have done to try to make this Pokemon good, because even if they went all in on increasing attack or special attack, its speed is still not gonna be great regardless. They can try to make it faster, but it's a tree. It's not. It's thematically it wouldn't make sense unless they made him super thin, which wouldn't make sense for the Abominable Snowman thing they're going for. So yeah, I don't really know what they could have done to make Abomasnow good, but you hardly ever see Mega Abomasnow. I've never seen one online or anywhere outside of a Hail-based team, which I'm really disappointed in. Because, like I've said, Abomasnow was not a good Pokemon to begin with. So the fact that they couldn't make him good even with a Mega is really disappointing. So, comment down below. What do you think is the most disappointing decision they've made with Megas? Who do you think is the best or the worst Mega? Do you think anything I've said today was wrong, or do you think there's anything that I missed regarding ability, stats, or whatever? Leave a comment down below. I'd like to have a discussion going, and I'll see you next time.